everyone, welcome to our channel, Life Joyfully Done. I'm Jen, and today I have a DIY faux stained glass video for you. If you are new to the Life Joyfully Done channel, we primarily do Disney content and also like unboxings and park vlogs, all of those fun things, or joyful things, I guess I should say. And we are also working into our channel some more DIY videos for you. And this one, of course, I had to include a bit of Disney. So we're going to be making this Pluto faux stained glass with using translucent vinyl. Now, there are several ways to go about this, but I'm going to be using my Cricut Maker because, well, that's a lot easier than cutting it by hand. So let's go ahead and jump into it, but do keep in mind you do not need a Cricut for this. You just need some patience if you do not have a Cricut. First step was to find a free image to use for this project. I found this one of Pluto and printed it out, then traced it so that I could, I guess you would say, make it stained glassified. I don't know. I don't know the technical term, but I went ahead and used my copier to make my trace lines a little bit darker, and then I went ahead and added some more lines to increase the stained glass effect. I then went to this website that will convert JPEGs into cutting files or SVG files. I will have that website down in the description so you can check it out as well. It does a really nice job, and you can then download your image. You will then take that SVG file, the cut file, and upload it to your Cricut Design Space. I've already done that, so we're going to go ahead and add that to my canvas, as I have done right here. I am going to go ahead and close out all the pieces of the image that I do not want to use by clicking the little eye on the right hand side here. I'm then going to go ahead and use this contour tool to get rid of some of the little portions that I could not hide with what I was doing earlier. So I'm scrolling to the bottom here just to get the little pieces that are in his tail that we do not want to be cut out, and just double checking to make sure that this is not one that I need as well. We're going to go ahead and zoom in as also to just be sure we didn't miss anything, and then exit out of that. So I forgot to unclick the top, so when you do contour like that, it automatically keeps the top one on if you hit hide all. So just for your information, I'm also going to go ahead and hide the parts that I want to be black, which are his eyes and nose and ears. This is just going to give it a nicer look, and I don't have any translucent black vinyl, so we're going to just use that. I'm going to go ahead and make this 8x10 rectangle, because that is the size of the frame that I have that we will be using. And I'm going to make a frame out of the two different rectangles just by making one slightly smaller than the other, and then we're going to lay them on top of each other and center them. And after we do that, we can then go ahead and slice them and then separate the pieces out, and now you have your frame, and you can kind of take a look at what it's going to be when you slice it. So now we're going to go ahead and just make a new rectangle to do the slicing from the larger photo or image, I guess you would say, and I'm gonna put the image on top so we can see a little bit better what we're working with, and move it into the position that you feel best. So I like this, so we're going to go ahead and highlight them both and hit slice. And then you can take each of the separated images apart and keep what you want to keep. We're going to go ahead and now start and try and use this new tool, Offset. If you don't see it on your taskbar up there or your tools, go ahead and go into settings and just make sure that your canvas style is set as new. That should ensure that you have the offset tool. It's a really cool tool and I love it. I use it so much, and it makes making this faux stained glass project so much easier because you can thicken the lines of your project if you feel it's necessary. So I've done that, and here is the thickened lined image, and then we're going to just put the frame on top of that, line it up, and you can see up here the image is not 8 by 10 anymore. Not sure what happened there, so we're going to go ahead and fix that. And you just need to edit right up here in that box, change it to the number that you would like it to be, and hit enter. And then I noticed that for whatever reason it did not go to 10 on the other side, so we're going to unlock the image and change this to 10. It will just change the image dimension just slightly, nothing noticeable, but I really wanted to make sure that it would fit the picture frame that I purchased. So we're going to then highlight both of them, center them again, and then after we get them centered, we will go ahead and weld this together by clicking the weld button down in the bottom here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and change the color to black because that is the color vinyl I will be cutting this image out of. Now we've gotten rid of the excess and we have just the image we want to use. We're going to go ahead and duplicate it because now we are going to work on getting the color portions of this faux stained glass project. To do that, we're going to go ahead and use the original image, and we're going to just click certain like right now I'm going to go ahead and click the ones that are going to be white. That's going to be the ball in his mouth as well as the whites of his eyes. And once you get those clicked, I have trouble with mine for some reason. I don't know if you guys experience this, but sometimes you can't get it to highlight on the photo. So I'm just scrolling through here and just finding the pieces in this side menu here. And I forgot to click the top one again, so we're going to go back and do that. And then once you do that, then you'll have the portion that is going to be white. So we're going to do the offset again. And we do this because then when you place the piece underneath the vinyl portions, you have a little bit of overlay onto the black so that you don't have any of the clear glass showing through on your project. So I've completed doing this for each of the colors, and now we're going to go ahead and duplicate just the frame, the leaded portion. Once you have it duplicated, go ahead and flip it so it is a mirrored image. This mirrored image is the only one you will need if you decide not to finish the back of this project. Again, the mirrored image is the one you're going to want to use to place on your first piece of glass. And then you just click through, make sure you've got all the images you are wanting to cut. Then you're going to want to click that green button, and then you're going to click the vinyl tab here. I have it favorited. If you don't have it, you can look it up, and then we'll hit continue. And I'm just going to show you one of the times of putting the vinyl on the pad, just because you don't need to see that multiple times. One time is plenty. I did use that little squeegee thing to ensure that the vinyl sticks to the mat, and then you just let your Cricut do the work. So we're jumping to the point where it has cut all the images, and we're just double checking, and then we're going to go ahead and hit finish, and it'll bring you back to your canvas, and you're just going to want to save it so you have your progress. Here are all of the items that you are going to need. We have the cut vinyl pieces. We also have hooks to secure to the back of the picture frame. These were ones that are meant for putting in the wall, but what we're going to do is we're going to hot glue them onto the back of this Dollar Tree picture frame. Like I said, it's an 8x10, and we're going to just secure the hooks at the top here. You're also going to need a chain of some sort to secure to the hooks so that you can hang your faux stained glass piece up in the window. So I've already went ahead and added a loop on the end of this chain here, which is the one I'm going to use. You'll also need a suction cup hook for the window. I don't have that pictured because I forgot to put it, but we also have some alcohol to clean the glass so that the vinyl sticks properly. I have my clear mat here just to help me keep things lined up. We also are going to need some kind of transfer paper. I use this contact paper because it's inexpensive, and yeah, because it's inexpensive. All right, so we have our glass, and we're going to go ahead and lay it down and clean it with the alcohol. You just need a little bit, and you're going to just wipe it all over this glass piece. Both sides. You don't want any fingerprints or any remnants of anything on it because you could get it stuck under the vinyl, or it could keep it from sticking for the long term. Now we got the frame, and we're going to go ahead and add the hooks to the top. They are secure, and we're going to go ahead and set that aside and start weeding out the excess vinyl from our project. I have my tool here. I quickly discovered that I didn't really need it. The pieces are so large on this project that it wasn't necessary to use the tool, so I just used my fingers and made quick work of this weeding procedure, I guess you would say. You're going to want to repeat this with each piece of your project. I then like to get a piece of contact paper that is a bit larger than the item I'm going to stick it to, and I use this little trick where I tear the paper just slightly in the corner. It makes it a lot easier to separate the contact paper from its backing, and then I will use this to transfer the vinyl onto the glass. I just take a small portion and then lay that down and then smooth it as I go. I find this is a lot easier than taking the vinyl or the transfer paper off and trying to lay it. I then will smooth the contact paper onto the vinyl, and then we will separate it from the backer. As you can see, I had a little mishap, so if you have pointers on how to avoid that in the future, please let me know down in the comments. I thought for sure I'd ruined the whole thing. Alright, so we have it separated now, and we're going to go ahead and take out this one little tiny corner that I missed in the first place, using my tool for that one, which worked great. And then we are set to get ready and place it onto the glass. I went ahead and put the backer of the contact sheet on here to help me not touch the vinyl too much, because the oils from your hands can make it so it doesn't adhere properly. So the bit of contact paper on the back of that, or the contact backer, really helps to stop that from happening. Again, I'm going to just smooth it as I go after I'm sure that I lined it up pretty well. Flatten it down, use my scraper to adhere it as best as possible. Then you just peel up the edge slowly, because the first little bit tends to not stay at first, and then you just slowly work your way across until you have removed all of the contact paper from your project. I will then use this piece again for the other items, just to save some money once again. And here's a quick look at what we have so far. If you would like to add the second piece of vinyl, what you do is you line up the glass on top of the one you just did, and then as best you can line them up so that they are directly on top of each other. You want that as close as possible so that the black from the other side does not show through the colored portion of your faux stained glass. And just again slowly peel it away until you have secured it, and then just again do the same steps you just did. I decided not to do that for my project, so now you're going to flip over your glass and start putting on the other colors. I've decided to start with the purple because it is the largest, and I felt that that would be the best place to start. So you're going to use the same technique that I showed you earlier, just lining it up and slowly placing it down, and then removing the backing as you slide it. Not the slide it, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Anyway, you see what I'm doing here. And then I'll use my tool again to smooth it out and make sure it is adhered to the glass. Once you have it smoothed out, you can then remove the transfer paper or contact paper, whatever you want to call it. And then I noticed I had a few air bubbles, so I tried to smooth them out with my tool, and it worked for some of them, but not all of them. So I went ahead and grabbed my pick tool that I had earlier and just poked a small hole in each of the bubbles, and then used the other tool, the blue one, to smooth those bubbles out. It worked pretty well, and I am happy with the way it turned out. Then I took my huge piece of contact paper I had earlier and added the other portions to it, and now we are ready to start with the other colors. We're going to start with the white, and again, you're just doing the same thing you did with the purple. This, I think, is a little easier than the large piece because you can see a little bit better how it lines up with the black, and you just follow the same thing I showed you earlier. Also smoothing them out, making sure that they are sticking properly. If you see air bubbles again, go ahead and try and use that tool. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a bit because it is repetitive, but I do want you to see how it looks as you are progressing in this project. I do pick it up every once in a while just to make sure that I have it placed properly. It's looking good so far, and I don't see any overlap between the colors. Now it can overlap on the black, but you don't want it to overlap on the other colors. So now we're going to go ahead and do this last portion of Pluto's body, and it wasn't quite lined up, so I was able to pull it up and try again. If you do that immediately when you see your mistake, you should be able to do that. I would make sure it's lined up before you smooth it out and adhere it really well. Otherwise, it might be difficult to try and remove. So we've got it flipped over and it's looking good. I think that it has turned out better than I expected. I love that the black vinyl is on the other side of the glass. It really gives you that lead feel. Now we're going to go ahead and place the finished faux stained glass into the frame and secure it. It might take a little bit of finagling just because I did have a little bit of overlap of the black vinyl, but all in all, I think it turned out really nice, and I'm excited to hang it in a window and see the sunshine through it. Again, if you are so inclined, you can add that other piece of black vinyl to the second glass frame and place that glass frame in the same picture frame as this one and have a more finished look. All right, I hope you enjoyed all that information and go out and try and make your very own faux stained glass project. I just wanted to share before you go some lessons that I learned. So one of the things that stuck out to me is maybe get a higher quality frame. I'm thinking probably like one of those floating frames. That way you don't have to deal with adding the hooks that might fall off, which that happened to me. And if you are going to use a frame from the Dollar Tree, then I would go ahead and not use hot glue, but maybe something a little more permanent, like crazy glue or something like that. That I think is the reason the one hook came off, was because it was secured with the hot glue. Another thing that I learned was that even though you cleaned it with the alcohol and the cotton ball, some things still might stick when you're turning it over on your project surface. So make sure your project surface is clean, and before you start sticking the vinyl on, make sure nothing has been added to the glass after you've cleaned it. I do have a couple spots where I have some dog fur underneath the vinyl, which is fine for me. This is just gonna stay at our house. It's decoration for us. If it was a gift, I would probably redo it. But that is why we have some little, I don't know if you guys can see that, why we have some little pockets and stuff like that, because there's junk underneath there, I guess is what you would say. If you have questions about this project, please go ahead and post them down in the comments below. I am happy to answer them as soon as I can. If you create a faux stained glass project of your own, I would love, love, love to see it. So please post it on Instagram and tag us. Our Instagram is @LifeJoyfullyDone. I look forward to seeing your projects, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Also, if you have not yet subscribed, oh my gosh, I can't talk today, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the bell icon so you are alerted every time we post more joyful content. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!